Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We're looking at player props on a little 3-game slate here in the NBA on Thursday night, Nate. Not too many games that I'm going to enjoy watching, I'm going to be honest with you, but I think I feel pretty good about our picks. Went 3-1 again last night. Nate went 2-0. I went 1-1, thanks to the Celtics crushing the Hawks and not allowing Trae Young to get above 27 points as he didn't play the end of that fourth quarter. So we'll look to continue to stay hot with you guys here today. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page so you can continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this regular season. Also head to thelines.com. Nate puts the props up there each and every day for you guys. Also have our great odds finder tool so you can shop those props to the best of your ability across U.S. sportsbooks and make sure you're getting the best juice there, best odds available. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first play, a prop for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Trae Young getting shut down. The Hawks didn't score for like 6 minutes in the fourth quarter there against the Celtics, and then they broke that schneid with Trae Young hitting an awful step back two with his foot on the line. Just have to throw that out there. C's looking good, kid. The Nets are in danger of being blown out once again, so it makes me lean towards Anfernee Simons more than Damian Lillard. We saw when Dame missed his first game and the Blazers just crushed the Rockets, but I think Simons had 7 threes by halftime in that game. Yep. So if we can see something like that again, I feel good about plus 115 for him to hit 4. He's hit 5 threes in 3 straight games at a 44% clip. And that's what he does at home. Basically since January this season, 4.7 threes at a 44% clip. He had 23 points last time against Brooklyn, despite going 2 for 11 from deep, which is out of character for him. His prop at 20.5 points, don't mind that either. As we mentioned in the game video, the Nets are coming off a historically bad defensive performance, gave up 23s, 66 paint points. On the season, they allow the second most threes to shooting guards and the 9th most points to shooting guards. Not much else to say here. It's a team that looks like they could be quitting or at least might pack it in to end this road trip and hope to get things back together once they get back home. But, man, the wheels fell off in that last game.
Yeah, they fell clean off, man, by the second quarter. Yeah, if you're not going to play defense, it doesn't really matter what happens. I mean, Simons is averaging 22.5 a game this season. He's learned to play with Dame. Like last season, it was like Dame's out, Simons over 20 points, Simons over 3 or 4 threes made. Like just hit it, let's get it. But this year you can still bank on him doing all that stuff with Dame in the lineup. Like I said, averaging not only the 22 points a game, it's also the run that he's getting, same amount of time. Actually leading the team in minutes at 36 a game and still putting up about 10 3-pointers a game. So Dame's not limiting his ability to get his touches. He is the second banana. 1B, if you will, 2A to the Jeremy Grant 2B. Either way, I love this team and love the fact that there's a lot of guys you have to guard now, and that's opening things up for Simons big time. So I'm going to move on. Both my props, big spoiler here, are Detroit Pistons, and they're both based on the fact that Cade Cunningham is not playing tonight against the Clippers team that we have a video about as well. Bojan Bogdanovic, going to him. I haven't talked about my fantasy team in a while. He's doing great stuff for us there. He's 2.5 threes for him. Over that is even money, about plus 105 on DK there. He likes playing against the Clips. His last 2 versus the Clips, 21.5 a game, 15 for 21 from the field, and 10 for 12 from 3. That's over 2 games, dude. So 71% from the field, and what's that, like 90%, 89% from 3. I feel pretty good about it. His home road splits, there's not much there, pretty much the same. He shoots a little bit better on the road, scoring about the same amount, 20 a game or so, wherever he's playing. He does shoot a few fewer threes, and interestingly enough, without Cade Cunningham in there, he also makes less threes. Not super surprising. Cade's a great distributor, and Bojan's obviously doing a lot more playmaking when he's in the game, probably a lot more shooting off of the dribble as opposed to being able to spot up and be set when Cade just gets him the ball. But he does score more points, right? 24 a game with Cade out versus when Cade is in this season, averaging about 19.3. So the 4 points more, 17.5 points is his points prop. I think it's really, really low. I'm happy with the threes because you get the way better juice. 2.5 for him is plus 105 versus the 17.5 points on DK, minus 125. I'd be happy to buy a point and get that to 18.5 for Bojan, and then go ahead and get that close to about plus minus 105 there to get the extra point, or excuse me, sell a point there there, go ahead and alternate that total up a bit to 18.5 to get better juice and get that close to even money there as opposed to the minus 125.
Yeah, I mean, the fewer 3-point attempts, I think, is really a scouting thing from other teams saying you got to run this guy off the line. But the fact that he's getting 24 points per game is, what he's done since he basically burst on the scene with the Pacers to be like, look, you can doubt me because I look like a slow white European dude, but I've got a bag, man. And he can score at all three levels. That last 20-point performance against the Clippers was just in 25 minutes with the Jazz. And it was key because Paul George was out. So if PG is out here, I think you got to like Bojan a lot more. They don't have a great matchup for him other than PG. And also like Reggie Jackson on the Clippers side of things. Whether PG sits or not, I think if you can get his props pretty low, but we don't know what they are yet. I'm going to go with a guy who's on one of my fantasy teams, Keldon Johnson. Rebounding at a stunningly low rate this year after he was far more effective on the board. So I'm kind of interested in buying low on that when you look at a game with a 238 total against a Kings team that's 8th in pace, allows the 5th most rebounds, 6th most points to small forwards this season. Kings are giving up the 4th highest defensive rebounding rate. They don't crash the glass. They play fast. If they're not as hot as they were against the Nets in their last game, there will be plenty of opportunities for Keldon to get over 5.5 rebounds. That gets you plus 115. Now, there's some really intriguing odds for a double-double, which he hasn't done since the season opener against Charlotte, but that's another team, plays fast, can be hot or cold, kind of like the Kings. He went for 20 and 11. The last time he was in Sacramento last December, 16 and 11, and that was at a game with a 96 pace. It's just if you get the ball to bounce right for you a few times, it's plus 1,300 at DraftKings. I don't mind sprinkling a small bet on that. There are notable home road splits here. The Spurs are worse offensively and defensively on the road. His points dropped from 24 to 21 and rebounds from 6 to just 4 per game on the road. But Kings also score more and are worse defensively at home. The expected bet here is 21.5 points. That's why you're getting poor odds. I would rather combine that with the rebounds. You add 6 rebounds to 27.5, or just take him to get 6 rebounds and hope that the ball bounces his way a few more times as Pirtle and Sabonis get locked up down low, those two European giants.
We'll hope so. After Jakob Michael Jordan Pirtle dropped a 30-piece the other night in a pretty good matchup for him against those Blazers. So we'll see who's really able to put up the points line. But there's going to be points, man. It's going to be. I think we're all expecting a barn burner, which is why we kind of lean away from touching a 7-point spread. You just really don't know. There's too much fluctuation there. But yeah, Keldon's looked really good this season, man. He and Devin Vassell are for real. Those are two really, really good players, and they're gonna find themselves with some pretty long NBA careers, I would imagine, especially the way Keldon is able to be so versatile all over the floor. So I'm going to finish off. I already told you guys I'm taking 2 Pistons here. Jaden Ivey was the obvious other one with Cade Cunningham out. It's just a matter of what he and Bojan do when Cade is out, dude. That's all I've got for you guys right now. 17.5 points, even money on DK right there. With Cade, 15.5 a game, pretty close to the 17.5 already. 3.5 assists. 3.5 free throw attempts with a 22% usage rate. Still some decent numbers for a rookie guard in his first 20 games in the league, or 15-ish. Really, really nice numbers. Without Cade, it's even more impressive, dude. It's like rookie of the year shit. It's 19 points a game, 5 assists, 7 free throw attempts, and a 29% usage rate. He does slide over, it seems. Like he and Bojan are basically mixing point guard duties. You called Killian Hayes one of the biggest busts since Anthony Bennett, if not the biggest. I argue a little bit right now with that, but that's not the point of this. The point is he does come in and play a bit more point guard, Killian Hayes, but it's not like he's getting that much more time or usage or having the ball in his hands. It's like we said, it's Jaden and Bojan with the usage rates going up to close to 30% for both those guys. So if he's going to play 32 minutes with a 30% usage rate, putting up roughly 15 to 20 shots in this game, 17.5 points for Jaden Ivey. I know I like an under, and I really I don't know. We do like the Pistons to cover a large spread here, especially if Paul George isn't in there, but there's really really just two guys that you expect to score when Cade Cunningham is out, especially because they're two guys looking mostly for their shot. Even though, I said Jaden gets a few more assists a game, I'm not even concerned about throwing it in there. I'm just concerned about getting him over 17 points tonight against a Clippers team that we're hoping won't have Paul George and that both these props will hit for us.
I didn't say Hayes was a bust. I said he was the worst draft pick since Anthony Bennett because they had the 7th pick and Tyrese Halliburton was sitting there as the obvious choice. They passed, and imagine if this team had Cade and Tyrese Halliburton in the same backcourt. Instead, they had to run it back and take Ivy, who's not a bad consolation prize here with this draft. He's for real. And the fact that he's now playing besides Killian Hayes, who just can't play, certainly couldn't play against the Raptors in the last matchup. And the Clippers are also a tough team. Hayes was yanked after just 24 minutes. And he had 12% usage rate against the Raptors. And then Alec Burks, your boy, the veteran easy 20, gets 15 off the bench. I would actually look at the same kind of thing happening here. If you can get Burks at like 9.5 points and Hayes at like under 10.5 points, both of those look fine to me because I don't think he could stay on the floor against this Clippers team.
Yeah, good luck getting Alec Burks props. Might be a nice DFS play if you do think he's going to be in there. Get him about as cheap as you could possibly imagine. So that is all the time we have for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. I know it's only a little 3-game slate tonight, but there is plenty to choose from in these props, and we will be back with you guys tomorrow. So until we see you next, happy betting.